Ekstra Bladet pushes the limits of native advertising as we do with every other kind of area within Ekstra Bladet, being it investigative journalism, or sport, or entertainment. But my staff and I work from a theory that we call the penguin theory. It happens in some penguin societies that when they come to the mating season, the biggest of the males stand banging chests to each other, and the last penguin standing gets to mate with the females. The bit smaller males run around the bigger males and actually mate with the females. Now we are that little lesser penguin who always try to find new ways. If people go right, we go left. We might go in the middle, but we'll constantly try to tell ourselves not to go in the same direction as everybody else. In order for a publisher to keep your trustworthiness, I would actually again turn it the other way around and say, you should always test the limits of your trustworthiness. But then again, it's all about labeling. Tell your audience what you do, why you do it, and when you do it. Numerous tests shows that the time spent with the well-labeled native content actually is longer than all of the other pieces of content we put on our site. So labeling, it has to be a greenhouse where everybody can see. Your audience must have a look through all the time to see what goes on in the onion. And as long as if you keep yourself on the labeling, you're home free, in my opinion. And then finally, the users decide. If they do not want it, they do not want it. I'm not sure that the cup of gold is at the end of true native. I mean, for us to pick up some major budgets, we have to look elsewhere. And this could be in the entertainment industry, where they spend a whole lot of bucks on producing TVCs, going on broadcasting stations, and now let's pick up those budgets instead and have them going online. Good native advertising for the audience on Ekstra Bladet is surprising, should give you a good laugh. Would you share it? Would you watch it yourself? And would you comment on it? I mean, if you can sign off those topics, then you're pretty good off. By producing it ourselves. We will never, on Ekstra Bladet, in my time at least, allow, which I've heard some of the other media houses have now, allow people to, we won't lend out our brand to anybody else. We won't give them specific elements on our webpage in order for them just to fill it in whenever it's needed. So we have totally 100% control. I know the DNA, my staff knows the DNA, our creatives know the DNA, our stat people know the DNA, and that's how it works perfectly. On Ekstra Bladet, we have had numerous discussions on what would we actually allow as native advertising. Features might be the top. I mean, because features kind of touches news, and that's where it turns into a bit of a gray area. So we are very, very keen on the control of especially our written native, because it tends to swim over into the news department. So we're very keen on controlling that. The one that has the idea and the platform has the control. That's it. If you have the idea, if you can persuade the customer, or even seduce your customer, I call it customer. I mean, this is all about buying and selling. Then you control. If you control the idea, you control the rest of the process. They love it because if you look at the hour spending, on the money spending on one piece of native on Ekstra Bladet, there's a tendency that you have better budgets, better time, you can go more in depth, you can make it broader, you can make it a serial. I mean, you can always get a budget that would usually be bigger than the one you would have if it was non-native. So people like it, which also persuades me and makes me happy that people actually still want the good in-depth story or piece of television, and that's where native really can move some audience for us. Explaining native advertising is very hard, because what is native advertising? I mean, at Ekstra Bladet we haven't even decided for ourselves. I mean, we have native, which in our context is only written articles, being it on print, or we actually have native on print as well, or being on digital. And then we had advertise-funded programming, which we then called video or television. Now, if you have a hard time explaining your own crew how to go along with this, how can you then explain it to your customer? But we're getting there. I think the biggest lack we have is actually in the market of the whole native advertisement, is that we still haven't decided on the currencies. What are the KPIs if somebody should invest 100,000 euros in a piece of native television or articles? What are the KPIs? Is it time spent? Is it shares? Is it likes? Is it page views? I mean, and we haven't decided yet. And in that context, I noticed that this whole conference today started off by saying that none of the professional media buyers have turned up. I think that perhaps the professional media buyers better wake up now, or else the professional media houses, which I actually think Ekstra Bladet is, will cut them off. We might have quite a task explaining for the advertisers what native advertising is. But the professional media buyers have a really hard task of explaining why they, of all people, should be involved in this process at all. I mean, they don't have the currency, they don't want to get into it because they don't have the knowledge and the skills to produce it, or have some other agencies produce it. I invite the professional media buyers for a dance, or else I'll leave them on the bench. Trust me. Please trust me. I'm a professional storyteller. I am a journalist, educated 25 years ago. I know how the system works. I can promise you that a good story always sells. So trust me. This area of native advertising might still be a bit fuzzy, but trust me, I know. Selling native advertising is like seducing a woman. It's almost like if you can persuade the advertiser to have an affair. It's almost like it's quite a dangerous area to move into for an advertiser because, as I said before, the KPIs are a bit shadowed. So they have to rely on me seducing them with an idea. And if they kind of ignite on this idea, then they kind of step into a room that could provide the same feelings as if they had an affair. Enthusiasm. I mean, seduce them. What would you do if you were to seduce a woman on a one-night stand, or if you met her in the bar, or on Tinder, or wherever you met her? What would you do to tell this person sitting next to you, I'm the one, I have the idea, I can lead you the way, so trust me. So you have to seduce the advertiser. Usually it works. If you're very enthusiastic about your idea, then it will rub off on the advertiser. Keep total control as a publishing house. At Ekstra Bladet, we keep 100% control over anything from script, the production itself, the publishing, the time of the publishing, the sharing, the board media strategy. So keep total in control. Take chances, make mistakes, make them fast, and then move on. And always be loyal to the DNA that runs within your media house.